Hi, let's look at question number 4. These expressions look a little different because we have in here the division signs used. However, any division expression can be written as a fraction. If I say 8x divided by 2, that just means 8x in the numerator and 2 in the denominator. Once we write that in the fraction form, once we have it established that what's in the numerator and what's on the denominator, we do the previous practice that we did. We simplify the numbers and cancelling the variables. So let's just take a start with the very first one. The first expression, we have 8x divided by 2. So we will write this in the p by q form, or in the fraction form. It will become 8x over 2. The next step is simplification. We look for the common factor. So to multiply by, if 8 is divided by 2, we get 4. So x is written in the numerator only once, so it will remain the same. Therefore, we will get 4x as the final answer. Next, we have 12xy divided by 2x. So we deal with the, now in here we write them as a fraction, 12xy over 2x. Then we deal with the numbers first. 12 over 2, so 12 divided by 2 is 6, so 6. And in here then next we look at the variables. X is in the numerator and the denominator, once mentioned in numerator and once in the denominator, so they cancel each other and we are left with y. So 6y in the numerator. This would be our simplified expression, or simplified form of the expression. 16x squared divided by 4xy, so we write it as a fraction. 16x squared in the numerator, 4xy in the denominator. We look at the numbers. 16 divided by 4 is equal to 4, so we get 4x squared over xy. Then we look at the variables. In here we are having x squared, and in the denominator we have x once. In the numerator we have x twice, because the power is 2 in here. Here the power is 1. So one of the x gets divided with the x in the denominator, and we will be left with 4x over y. You have to keep in mind that this x gets cancelled with 1x in the numerator, and 1x is left in the numerator, and the x in the denominator is cancelled. So we are left with y in the denominator and x in the numerator, 4x in the numerator. The fourth one is 24xy divided by 3xy. So again we write it in the p by q form or in the fraction form, where we get 24xy in the numerator and 3xy in the denominator. Then we look at the numbers and we look for the common factor. 24 divided by 3 is equal to 8. Then we look at the variables. So x is mentioned once in the numerator and once in the denominator, so they both get cancelled. Y is also once in the numerator and once in the denominator, so this also gets cancelled. This way we get only 8 as the final answer for this expression. So this way we can say that when we are having the division of the terms in the expression, we can write them in the p by q form or in the fraction form. Then again, after this step, we look into the numbers, we simplify them, and then cancel them, and then we look into the variables. We look if they can be cancelled or further simplified, and then after these steps being performed, we get our final answer. 14x squared divided by 2y squared. we write it in the fraction form. Then we look into the numbers 14 and 2. 14 divided by 2 is equal to 7. 7 in the numerator, and the variables are x square and y square. They cannot be cancelled, so we will have 7x square over y square. Then we have 24xy divided by 8y. So 24xy in the numerator, 8y in the denominator. We look into the numbers first. 24 divided by 8 is equal to 3. 3xy over y. Then we look into the variables next. X is mentioned only once in the numerator and not in the denominator, so x will remain the same. Y, however, is mentioned in numerator and also in the denominator, so they will get cancelled completely, and as a final answer we will have 3x. In here 8xy divided by 24y, so 8 in here we will write this as a fraction. It will become 8xy over 24y. 8 divided by 24, we will look if we can simplify it. 8 multiplied by 1 is equal to 8. 8 multiplied by 3 is equal to 24. So xy, once the simplification or the cancellation of the numbers are done, then we look into the variables. X is mentioned in the numerator but not in the denominator, so it will remain the same. Y, on the other hand, it's mentioned in the numerator and denominator once, therefore they will be cancelled with each other, and we will be left with x over 3 as our final answer for this expression. 9x divided by 36xy. So 9x divided by 36, xy would be the p by q form of this expression. Then we look into the numbers and try to simplify it. 9 multiplied by 1 is equal to 9. 9 multiplied by 4 is equal to 36. So 1 over 4 we get for the numbers, and x is mentioned in the numerator once and once in the denominator, so they will get cancelled. Y, however, is missing in the numerator and present in the denominator, so it will remain as it is. Therefore, as a final form of this expression after simplification, we will have 1 over 4y. Next we have 77xyz over 11xz. So 77 we will write it is already in the p by q form written, so we will look into the numbers for simplification. 77 divided by 11 is equal to 7. Then looking into the variables, x is in the numerator and x is once in the denominator, so they will get cancelled. Y is in the numerator but missing in the denominator, so y will remain the same in the numerator. Z, on the other hand, is once in the numerator and once in the denominator, so they will be completely cancelling each other. As a result, we will have 7y as a final term for this expression after simplification. 45xy over 20x, already in the p by q form or in the fraction form written, so we will look into simplifying the numbers first. We have in here cancelled 45 over 9 and 20 over 4, so the common term in here we have is what do we call it, we have 9 multiplied by 5 into 4 is equal to 20, and 5 9 is equal to 45, so 5 is a common factor, therefore these numbers will get cancelled. Then we have x and y. We look into the variable and x in the denominator. X mentioned in denominator once and numerator once, so they will completely cancel each other. However, y is mentioned in the numerator only, therefore it will remain the same. So as a final result, we have 9y over 4 as the final answer for this. Second last, we have 60x square y square over 15xy. So already in the fraction form expressed. We will look into the numbers to simplify them first. So we have 15 multiplied by 1 is equal to 15, and 15 multiplied by 4 is equal to 60. So this way we have simplified the numbers. Now we will look into the variables. X is mentioned twice in the numerator and once in the denominator, because in here the power is 2, in the denominator the power is 1. So 1 of x will get cancelled with 1x in the denominator, and so in the numerator we will have only 1x remaining. Looking into the next variable, we have y square in the numerator and y in the denominator. So y is expressed twice in the numerator because it has power of 2, and once in the denominator because it has the power of 1. So 1 of the y gets cancelled with 1y in the denominator, and this way we will have 4xy as our final simplified term for this expression. The last one is 100xy over 25x square. So we will look into the numbers first. 25 multiplied by 1 is equal to 25, and 25 multiplied by 4 is equal to 100. So we will have 4xy over x square. Now we're looking into 4xy over x square. Looking into the variable x, mentioned once in the numerator and twice in the denominator. So 1 of the x in the denominator will get cancelled with 1x in the numerator, and y is mentioned in numerator only, not in the denominator, so it will remain as it is. Therefore the final term that we get after the simplification of this expression would be 4y over x, because in here 1x was cancelled with the x in the numerator and the other x is remaining, because in here the power of x was 2, so only 1 was cancelled. So that's all for this question and its simplification. The rule that we have to remember when it is a division sign used and we have to simplify it, so the 3 steps. The first one is that we have to write it in the fraction form. The second is look into the numbers and then simplify it, and then we look into the variables and then we cancel or simplify them. That's all for this question. Happy learning.